Hi, I'm Tisha.
I'm Loren.
And this is the Open Booked podcast. Today, we are talking about Shield of Sparrows. Who is the author on that one?
Devney Perry.
Devney Perry. And I thought I had read something of hers before, but now I don't think I have. Because I think I was looking through it and, oh, that's so pretty.
Yeah. I bought them only for that.
But first, are you reading anything else?
Yeah. A few weeks ago, I had started the EverKing series. Because I guess I had bought the book on Audible or used a credit or got it for free on a sale. I don't know. I had the first book on my Audible and I was looking for something to read. Loved the first book. It totally caught me by surprise. But I took a break to focus on what we were recording. I actually plowed through this book this week. So I like finishing right before we record, but I couldn't stop. So it happened quickly. And so I popped back to finishing that series. So I have a couple of hours left in the Ever Queen, which is the second in that book. And I think there's 3 in the series. I don't know if that's all of it, but it's good. It's kind of like dark romance, romantasy, but with pirates and magic and it's like got everything. No vampires, but pretty much everything else. So it's pretty good. What about you?
I was like 40% into The Last Widow by Karen Slaughter. And I was like, I need to get started on our book for this week. So I jumped into that and got through it slower than I wanted to, but I'll pick up on The Last Widow this afternoon and probably get it finished Monday or Tuesday. I did read or listen to Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham.
Is it good?
Yes, so good. It's got her typical quirky talking really fast, and she narrates it. So she talks about like filming the first Gilmore Girls and then going into Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life. And she kept a little journal because she wished she had remembered more from filming the first show, and she kept a little journal, and there were so many like little details while they were in production that she was just like, this is all very meant to be, like things just kind of fell into line, and she jotted those down, and it was really sweet to hear her perspective and things that stood out to her.
I love that. Yeah, she's an icon for sure, and she is going to play an interesting character in Reminders of Him, so we will have mixed feelings while watching that movie, probably.
Yeah.
But, yeah, exciting stuff. Okay, you want to get into our yapping? Did we mention The Prisoner last week? I can't remember.
Yeah, or the week before even.
He's only been out a week.
So, yeah, we mentioned it.
Okay. Okay, so, update on the escapee prisoner from Calico Rock, Arkansas. Let's back up a little bit, and I don't think we mentioned this last week, that the crimes he committed are actually where we live, and his family still lives here, I guess. He has a, wife and a daughter. There is a documentary about him called The Devil in the Ozarks. I don't know if we mentioned that either. If we did.
I didn't know about it until the next day.
Okay, so I knew about that documentary. I never watched it, but I didn't know it was about him. So, like, putting that all together, I'm like, oh, shit, okay.
Yeah.
So, that's about him. And just based on what I've heard, he probably has done more things we don't know about. Like, lot. He was the police chief of Gateway, or Garfield, one of the two. I get them confused. About 15 minutes from my house. They have the best ice cream cones. They're like so tall. It's like a little lake area. But he was the police chief there. He had confirmed sexually assaulted a woman, confirmed murdered a man. And Tisha has a little connection to that, I think.
Yeah, one of my coworkers, when we came into work on Tuesday, he's like, so I watched that documentary about the guy that escaped, but the guy that he killed, he says, he calls him his uncle. It's his mom's cousin's husband that was murdered. So he's like, my aunt's terrified right now.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows where he is. And from several other people that have talked, he was not a liked person. And if he shows up on the wrong lawn, he's may not be apprehended alive.
Especially in the area that he escaped in.
Yeah.
So Calico Rock is a couple hours east of where we live. It's actually like a small town. I guess that they just have a prison there. But I don't know if we went into details on the escape. It turns out, I don't think we had him yet. It was fresh last week. So it turns out he had a homemade uniform. He didn't steal somebody's. The initial thought was that he stole somebody's. Nope, homemade. So that tells me somebody helped him. He couldn't have done that by himself. And number 2, someone just let him out the door, thinking he was a guard pushing stuff. He had like a cart. There's a video of it if you want to look it up. I think the investigation determined that the guard really didn't know it was him, and it was just more negligence, not assisting an escape. Either way, it's terrible, but it does make me feel a little bit better that he wasn't helped per se. Still terrible, and they are not releasing the name of this guard, probably for good reason. But I think it's safe to say he probably no longer works there. There have been people that say they've seen him in opposite directions. Nothing that I have seen is confirmed, though. No one has confirmed sightings. Yesterday, the FBI or state troopers or some people were called into the Fort Smith area. This was last night. Which is about an hour south of us, meaning he traveled a long freaking ways. Meanwhile, people in Missouri, just north of where he escaped, are saying that they've spotted him there. Here's my opinion. This guy has nothing to lose. And I think the very first place people would think for him to go would be to his wife and family. So I think that's the last place he's going to go.
I think, if anything, they should be watching the family, because he'll contact them for sure if he hadn't already. And he'll like arrange a way to meet them somewhere else. So if they're traveling anytime soon,
yes, they need to sit back and watch, tap the phones, whatever. Here's the other thing that's scary about this guy. He's been a cop. He knows how they think. He knows their patterns. He knows the deal. Not just any cop. He was a police chief. So does he have an upper hand? In my opinion, yeah. But anyways, no one has confirmed. The police and news, nobody has come out and said there's been any confirmed sightings. There's a lot of people thinking they saw him. But I'm assuming any slightly overweight, bald guy people are freaking out right now. Like, our area's freaking out.
I thought somebody said he was like old, but this says he's 59.
Yeah. I thought he was in his 50s. He just looks aged from prison.
And whatever poor decisions he made prior to that.
Yeah.
There is now a reward out for his
$20,000. I'm about to go hunting him. Just kidding.
Yeah. So he raped a school teacher in 2018, or in 1997. He pled not guilty, but his DNA was theirs.
Yeah.
And then, isn't Frank Tillery where that teacher got in trouble last year?
Maybe. Don't send your kids there.
Yeah. And then he killed Appleton outside Pea Ridge.
Yeah.
In 2017.
This is all way too close to home.
Or 2016, yeah.
So when he killed him, they got his DNA when they took him in, and that's how they solved the rape case, because they had gotten DNA off of her back in the day. To me, you're a cop. Wouldn't your DNA already be in the system? I would think that's a requirement to be a police officer.
Maybe
should
it's
be.
Not. I mean, they take your fingerprints, but that ain't shit.
Yeah.
Huh. I know it is in, like, FBI because of instances like this, but maybe not lower level police. So hopefully he is found soon, or at least taken out. So
yeah, that's what I think is going to end up happening. I think the public is going to run into him. And if he's not already in Mexico, there's a huge part of me that thinks it's been a week. He could literally be anywhere in the entire world. And if somebody helped him, who's to say 100 yards outside the prison, there wasn't fresh, clean clothes, a car with fake IDs, and he's in Mexico right now. Or in some other non-extraditing country. People, the police are saying they're confident he's still in that area, which I'm like, how? Why? Unless they know more, or they're just guessing. That's no more than they're sharing, or they're just guessing, because he's smart. He's proved he's smart, so you have to outsmart him. But the memes are hilarious. There's this one couple that I saw, and their video's going viral. And it's like them two cuddled up on the couch, and it's like us watching a murder in the Ozarks when he could be hiding in our closet right now, or something. And it's like, I mean, sure.
But for real.
But for real.
For real.
I'm refusing to watch it until they catch him because I don't want to freak myself out.
Yeah, no.
We're far enough, but also not, because the murders in Pea Ridge, that's 5 minutes maybe from my house, maybe 10, and then he was the police chief in Gateway, and then where does his family live? I don't know. I'm sure they're in some sort of protection.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not. I know that they live up here somewhere. So they could be your fucking neighbor, Tisha.
Could be.
Anyways.
I'm trying to think of my neighbors. They're all married or much older. Mine are all
and older married. Too. We're like the youngest people in our neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
Anyways, we'll keep you guys posted. Like I said, it's kind of a local thing for us, but it's making national news and making us look quite bad. I mean, the Today Show, this is so funny. I saw, it was like Gail, I think maybe it was Gail, whoever's on that, was like, another inmate escapee in the Deep South. And I'm like, okay, we're the South, but I wouldn't compare us with New Orleans. New Orleans had like 10 prisoners escape thanks to the Annabelle doll. We are like 10 hours north of New Orleans. Yeah. Like, yes, we're still the South, but the Deep South is a little dramatic.
Yeah, that's a lot. Did you see they've detained, I think, 6 of them? I think
they're getting quite a few. I think there's still a few on the run.
I saw one, I think it was a set of 2 of them or 3, led the police on a high-speed chase, and then, of course, crashed like they always fucking do. If you're going on a high-speed chase, you cannot control your vehicle, and you always crash. Just literally. Stop.
You never get away unless you're on a motorcycle. I'm gonna be real. The motorcyclists are the only ones that get away. If you're in a car, just pull over. You're done. Just save yourself the injury.
That reminds me, have you seen the TikTok trend of women?
The pursuits?
Like, can my police officer husband catch me in a foot pursuit?
Those have been my favorite. There was one guy that literally fell, got back up, and still caught her before she got out of the yard. And I'm like, no offense, women.
You're not as bad as you think you are.
Yep. There was one girl that gave her man a run for his money. You could tell she was a fucking D1 athlete or some shit, because she took him down the block. And then when he caught her, he like grabbed her ponytail or something. I was like, oh, okay. They must read our kind of books. I'm loving that trend.
Yeah.
I'm so slow. I'd be caught. I could make it 10 steps and Jesse would, he's not even, law enforcement would catch me. I'm like a freaking turtle.
Same. I can go for distance, but I cannot go fast.
I can't do either. If I'm running, there's margaritas or somebody's chasing me, period. I'm late for a flight.
Done that.
Yep. It's a rite of passage. You have to do it at least once in your life.
And it's got to be the biggest airport, and your connecting flight is on the opposite end of the fucking airport. Why? It's the same airline.
Yep.
Why?
Yep. Okay, next topic is there's another theory on who Danny Francis is.
I like this one.
And this person actually really makes sense. And the evidence is stacked, okay? So, the first and foremost, this person, I need to find the TikTok so we can
I'll link it.
Okay, I think I sent it to you.
Yeah.
She has
Kimberly
put
H.
She has put 2 and 2 together that the marketing team and whatnot, all of the team is the same for Danny Francis and this other author, but the nail in the coffin, in my opinion, which I agree with, because I've never seen this on any other book, is there's this page called About the Type in the back of all of these authors' books that like sets the stage, okay? And just gives you a little bit of extra info. It's not a normal practice. And that author is Danielle Jensen, aka the author of another BookTok sensation, who had a second to this. It's a duology, and the second one released like this past month. So, Now, the only thing of this theory that I can't make it make sense is she already is a successful romantasy author. Why would she want to use a pen name unless she just literally thought it would be funny?
Yeah.
It makes more sense to me that it's someone exploring romantasy or fantasy in general, like Coho or Elsie Silver. The Elsie Silver thing I'm still a little hung up on because of the cowboy references. I'm sorry, I can't forget that. Because she made a rancher style person in a fantasy futuristic fantasy novel.
Mm-hmm.
So...
And maybe it's somebody from Del Rey that saw Danielle's and was like, I can use this to throw them off.
Yeah, because Danielle, short Danny, I just put that together. I don't think she said that, but that would make sense. I just was looking at it and was like, Danielle, Danny.
Yeah.
Either way, we loved the book. It's just fun to investigate at this point. It's a little whodunit.
Little Easter eggs.
Book edition. Yeah. So I thought that was a good theory, and it has actually inspired us to cover this book next week. So next week we're going to cover A Fate Inked in Blood, and then the week after we're going to cover the second one. I can't remember the name of it right now. Let's look. A Curse Carved in Bone. So
Blood and Bone.
Classic
Everything's
fantasy.
Everything's gotta be about
death, destruction. Okay, next on the agenda. Last week we talked about the AMAs and Taylor Swift possibly announcing Taylor's version and that they were going to get clowned just like us ACOTAR peeps. And lo and behold, we were right. Everyone got clowned. Literally everyone. And then she announces a couple days later. Well, wait, let me back up. The AMAs apparently sucked. Apparently no one watched it. The last 2 years they didn't even do it, but they were like doing one last, trying to bring it back. Some of the performances were pre-recorded and then played on giant screens. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, like people were like, what the fuck? And then there was the whole Megan Maroney Shabuzi thing. Which, let's be real, they're all reading teleprompter, so no one should be mad at anyone for what they say up there because they aren't told they can say what they want. It's very clear they're reading from teleprompters. Now, if it's rehearsed or not, Shabuzi's eye roll told me that it kind of wasn't. Like, he didn't know what she was going to say. But also, I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say that what Megan Maroney's comment had some merit.
Yes, yeah.
It had some merit, and it was very apparent that Shabuzi is not a classical country music fan because he didn't... Either he thought she was talking about different Carters.
Yeah, and that's what I thought, too. I thought she was talking about, like, Beyonce, the Carter family, and I was like, no.
I
because I hadn't
know
heard
that
before when she said like the name of the people that won, and I was like, okay, that makes more sense. But initially, I just heard the Carter family, and I was like, I know you're not fucking talking about Beyonce.
No, get Beyonce out of the fucking country shit, guys. I respect anyone who's a big fan of a certain artist. I'm a big Morgan Wallen fan. I get it, but she needs to stay in her fucking lane. Just go back to being a pop star. Like, the country people are not... The people who are supporting her are pop people. It's not the true country audience, us, is not listening to Cowboy Carter.
No. Literally, if it comes on a shuffle or random radio, I'm changing it. I will not listen to it because it's so stupid.
It's so stupid. And here's the difference between... And this is the argument I've heard from people. Well, Post Malone is in country, and... He's from Texas, too. They're both from Texas. True story. Post Malone came in and made a true country album. She did not.
And he did covers.
He did covers for years. Brad Paisley covers. I remember the first one I heard was I'm Gonna Miss Her by Brad Paisley, and I thought, damn, Posty can sing some country.
Yeah.
But he came in. He's friends with everyone. He's doing collabs. It's not like that with her. Like, it's just not the same. She's not she comes in like she owns fucking Nashville. Anyways.
And her reaction at that award show where she won like best country album or best whatever. Even Jay-Z was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. She was like what
he knows.
Fuck?
He knows the game. So he didn't intend for her to win, but he's like, I mean, whatever. It's another trophy on the shelf.
I'm pretty sure Chris Stapleton is like in a dispute or a lawsuit or something with that.
Yeah.
Was it the Grammys?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was the Grammys. And Chris Stapleton is one of the most, not just, everyone knows him for his singing, he's one of the most prolific songwriters. Like, he's wrote, between him and Hardy, they've wrote like half the fucking songs in Nashville.
Yeah.
That even if they don't sing them.
Yeah, he wrote for over a decade, if not two, before he ever started singing. And I think I heard an interview where he only started singing because he didn't want to let the voice of this song go. I don't remember which one it was, but he was like, I just love this song so much. I can't let it go. And like his agent or somebody told him, like, then do it. Because he never wanted to be in the spotlight. He just wanted to write good songs. And he's done that and proven that time and time and time and time again. And they were like, just do it. If it's great, good. If it's not, whatever. You just slide back into the background.
Yeah. Yeah. He's obviously been a hit. He has a beautiful voice. It's unique. You hear it and you're like, that's Chris Stapleton. And there's a few, I mean, we listen to all the music, so it's probably easier for us, but I feel like there's been a few voices in country music that even people who don't listen to country music hear it and go, that's who that is. And speaking of the Carters, we're going to throw Johnny Cash in there because he has probably the most distinct voice of anyone in the entire world. Rest in peace, Man in Black. But circling back to the Carter thing, what the intention was for that comment was June Carter, obviously Johnny Cash's wife, was from the Carter family and was extremely famous and all about Nashville and the Grand Ole Opry way before they got married.
Yeah.
Their entire family was singing. And that was the intention, I think, of that. Maybe Shabuzi read it as Beyonce as well. Because of his reaction was so, like, he couldn't control his facial expression, which, if they were talking about Beyonce, I would have done the same thing. Yeah. But I knew, like, based on the context, I was like, oh, they're talking about June Carter Cash family. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, I learned in Walk the Line, she grew up at the Ryman. They had their radio show, and her whole family was performing, and she always said that she learned to be funny because her sister had the pipes.
Yep.
So she's like, I just contributed what I could.
Yeah.
She never thought she was a really good singer.
Obviously she was, though.
Yeah.
Just maybe not compared to the voices in her family.
Yeah.
Walk the Line's a great movie, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I cry every time.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care how many times I watch it.
Hey, when people try to say that Bill Clinton is an Arkansan, I say, no, we don't claim Bill Clinton, we claim Johnny Cash, period. Yeah. That's it. Bill Clinton's more embarrassment than anything. I am not suicidal. I'm just going to throw that out right there. My mental health is great.
Don't come after us.
We're getting canceled. Okay, next.
On a different note.
On a completely different note, I'm going to throw out a little spoiler warning for the next couple of minutes. We're not going to spend too long on this, but the next couple of minutes for some unhinged SJM universe theories. There's 2. So if you skip ahead a little bit, I'm sure you'll be past it. We're going to make this very quick. If you have not read all 3 Sarah J. Maas series, okay. Daddy Hollivard, I always say Hollivard, like I'm such a redneck. Yeah, that. Okay, tell him the theory on that one.
There's a theory that he used word keys, WYRD, word keys, to jump worlds and become the king of Highburn in ACOTAR. And I could see it.
Yep.
I could see it. So we don't have a ton of information, obviously, because nobody ever saw him using the word keys to do that. So, but it's not outside of the realm of possibilities, especially for Sarah J. Maas.
Yep.
Did we ever talk about? We'll have to do it after this.
Okay. You just got really excited. I have no idea what you're excited about. Okay. I love it. Okay, next unhinged theory. Nesta, my most hated ACOTAR character. Is she a Blackbeak? Dun 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 dun. So
I think so.
She's got the attitude of one. Let's be real. I like Manon way better. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But anyways, she has the attitude. They described one scene where she had her nails hit the stone, and it was like that they sparked. And in Throne of Glass, that's very prevalent with the Blackbeaks. They're very powerful, but they don't have... See, that's the thing. I never understood in Throne of Glass the witches don't have magic. But Nesta obviously does from the cauldron, I guess. But anyways, that's... I don't know.
So they imbue their brooms with magic. So it's like, how can you put something into it if you don't have it?
Yeah, and then they also, like, can use their magic once. Rest in peace. They can use their magic once and they die. Like...
Yeah. They're like honeybees.
Yeah, exactly like honeybees.
That's so sad.
So, yeah, that's a super unhinged theory, but hey, I'd love to see it. Did you have something else you wanted to say, or did you mean after we were done recording?
No, I'm trying to find it.
Okay.
But I saw it in one of the book groups the other day that she
Mhm.
announced a Crescent City 4.
Wait, what? Is that true?
That's what I'm trying to find.
Okay, let me ask ChatGPT. Did Sarah J. Maas announce another book?
A 4th book is confirmed to be in the works. I thought it was done.
Wait, Sarah J. Maas has confirmed she's
reason.
working on new books in both A Court of Thorns and Roses and Crescent City. Maas announced that the 6th installment of the ACOTAR series is currently under development. She's not disclosed specific plot details or release date. She has hinted that the book will be substantial in length. Crescent City 4. Maas confirmed she has plans for a 4th book in Crescent City. Although specific details and release date have not been announced, the book is expected to continue the intricate storyline established in previous installments. In addition to these projects, Maas has hinted at a secretive new endeavor which may introduce a new fantasy universe or revisit characters from her existing series. This project is described as being particularly emotional for her, though further details remain undisclosed. Emotional for her? Could that be like the history of the 13 or something like that people want more, but we know what happens to them?
Maybe. Yeah, though.
I would love a prequel with those people from ACOTAR, the flying people that everyone thought were dead and disappeared. It's been so long since I've read
hidden.
it. Yeah. I'd like that story. That would be cool. Like a little novella. I told Tisha before we were recording, I bet SJM's just scrolling through TikTok and Instagram being like, huh, that's a good idea. Hey, BookTok's got it figured out.
Huh. So, I can't find the post, but I remember seeing it in one of the BookTok groups. And yeah, they said that she announced she was going to be wrapping up the 4th Crescent City book soon. And then still nothing about Actor 6. And we're all like, could you come on with it?
Yeah. I mean, I'll take anything new right now, though. I know I want ACOTAR, but if it's Crescent City, that's fine.
Yeah.
We just need more fantasy.
Yeah. And then we'd have a reason to cover it. We could cover all 4.
Yep. I will say,
for more.
Me looking back at all the podcasts we've done, I think we are pretty heavy romantasy.
For sure.
We're like, yeah, I thought we like thrillers. We like everything. But
yeah,
what do we cover the most? Romantasy.
I think that's leaning more toward what is popular as we're recording, because so many new things have come out. Obviously, we did the Empyrean series because Onyx Storm was coming out. So give us a new thriller. We did Midnight Feast because it came out. So
we did. And we did Emily Henry because it just came out. We're following trends here, and trendy is romantasy. Yes. There was this thing I posted, I sent it to you too, and it was like, people are saying romantasy is just a fad. And they're like, excuse the fuck out of me. Do you not remember the 1999 masterpiece, The Mummy? That's one of my top 3. It's one of my top 3 favorite movies of all time. And that was like the first movie I saw in the movie theater. And probably one of my first crushes was Rick O'Connell from The Mummy. And I watched that movie like more than Shrek, okay? So, like, that's my movie. I love it. That's a lot, yeah. No, I love The Mummy. Which we've talked about. I have, like, a thing for ancient Egyptian history. Like, I think it's cool. But yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
Okay, next topic. In Richmond, Virginia, apparently underneath a government building, they have identified 700 unmarked graves, and they think there might be more, and they're saying that it's probably Civil War soldiers. How did they not know about this, is what I want to know.
Oh, they knew. It's just sure it was in one of those classified documents that we weren't allowed to see. Yeah. And I assuming they are doing something else to this building, and that's why this radar sonar was done. But I guess we will see and find out later. Or not.
Let's just be real. You couldn't pay me $1 bajillion to work in that government building. I bet it's haunted as fuck.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it wasn't built there to cover up this mass grave.
That's what I'm wondering too. When was it built?
Uh-huh.
We need to deep dive this a little bit more.
It says a city-owned property in Manchester. A new report states there may be even more graves left to be found. Identify 472 probable and 270 possible grave sites, totaling 742. 2313 Wise Street. So we need to find out what that is.
In Manchester, Virginia? Wait, was it 23 what?
13. This burial site was used as a municipal cemetery prior to the establishment of the nearby Moray Cemetery in 1874.
Oh, it's a Manchester is the neighborhood. It's Richmond is the city. Maps.
The people buried here are thought to be Confederate soldiers who died in area military hospitals during the Civil War, as well as private citizens. Soldiers are believed to have been buried there between 1861 and 1862.
Crazy.
This news station previously visited the site and noted a stone marker that had been placed there to honor more than 100 Confederate soldiers from South Carolina who died in a Manchester hospital between 1861 and 1865. The marker was placed in 1939 by the United Daughters of the Confederacy. The report indicates that at this time, there is no known documentation of the burials at the site. However, the vendor did locate several medical-related records that list soldiers who died in area hospitals.
So they pretty much just had that as a dumping ground for people who died in hospitals.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
So they thought it was 100 people.
Yeah. They said from South Carolina. So maybe it was only 100 people from South Carolina that were soldiers or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's why they placed this marker. But it ended up being over 700.
It's not a building that you work in. I'm on Google Street View right now. It's just like it looks like a water building. It's like, I don't know what it, I wish I could show this. Look it up, 2313 Wise Street, Richmond, Virginia. I don't know what it's called. There's no name for it.
It almost looks like an abandoned or old prison.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, like a water treatment facility.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Just says City of Richmond, July 19th, 1782, Ad Astra. Sic Itur.
Okay. Wayzender Carroll House in Manchester used as a hospital and Confederate burial ground during the war.
Okay, but are you looking at the street view?
Yeah, I was. I'm out of it now.
The stonework in front of it?
What does it say?
This looks like some Freemason shit that Nicolas Cage needs to investigate.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Is there a Freemason symbol? City of Richmond. Okay, what is that triangle?
That's what I'm like. There's a triangle in the stonework in front of it.
Yeah.
But then inside of the building, there's like
an open door.
A little triangle with D's in it. D, and like a pitchfork. Huh. All right, internet sleuths. We need to know what this building was for.
Yeah. And again, I bet it's haunted as fuck. I stand by the statement.
100%.
Okay. Last but not least on the agenda before we dive into the book, Netflix announced Knives Out 3. I'm so excited. Yeah. I love those. I put a note. I wonder if these are books because I bet they are.
I feel like they are.
Benoit Blanc.
Knives Out based on a book? No, the Knives Out movies are not based on a book. They are original screenplays written and directed by Rian Johnson.
Okay.
While the films are inspired by the style and elements of classical Agatha Christie whodunits, they are not adaptations of her novels.
Okay. No, the other guy, the other ones like Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile, those are Agatha Christie, I think.
Yeah. And Death on the Nile was good.
It was so good.
Yeah.
That one got me. Murder on the Orient Express got me too, because I thought there's no way. Did you watch that one?
That, but I can't
Johnny Depp's in it.
But then I remember that now.
Yeah. Okay, you want to jump in?
Yes. Do you want to read the?
Yes, I have it ready.
She's so pretty.
Starts with, oh my god, look at the artwork.
I just can't.
I literally only bought this. It's free on Kindle, by the way, and I bought the audiobook for $7. But I had to buy this motherfucker too, because look at it! How can you not?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get it.
Yeah. I found it at Books A Million in Branson when I was there for the day. I could not find it at our Barnes & Noble or Walmart or anywhere. I went Target, all of them. So you might have to order it.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're not terrified, you're doing it wrong. Dun 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 dun. Long ago, the gods unleashed monsters upon the 5 kingdoms of Calandra to remind us that humans are insignificant, that we must pray to the gods for mercy throughout our fragile, fleeting lives. I didn't need a deity to remind me I was powerless. Being a princess had never been more than a performance. 23 years of empty titles and hollow traditions. My sister revels in the spectacle, basking in the attention, and flawlessly playing her part. I was never asked to be a part of the charade. Until the day an infamous monster hunter sailed to our shores. The day a prince walked into my father's throne room and ruined my life. The day I married a stranger, signed a magical treaty in blood, and set off across the continent to the most treacherous kingdom in all the realm. That was the day I learned that not all myths are make-believe, that lies and legends are often the same, that the only way to kill the monsters we fear was to become one. So good.
That's a lot of foreshadowing.
It really is. I didn't realize. I don't read those usually.
No.
I read reviews, or I get my Goodreads and I'll scan the IBSN or whatever and look. First and foremost, I'm obsessed with this book. It's probably one of my favorite books I've read in a long time. What about you?
Yeah, it was really good. Spoilers before we get any further in. But yeah, I'm with you on I need the next one now.
Yeah.
Not in 2026.
I texted Tisha and she hadn't started it yet. And I said, just so you're aware, like the first thing I Googled after finishing the book and I screenshotted it and it was, when is book 2 coming out? And it's beginning of next year. But great news is it's currently in development as a movie with Amazon MGM as well, which I didn't know that until I asked about the release date for book 2. It is confirmed a trilogy, so there will be 3. And the pace will be pretty much a book a year, it sounds like, and they are already like in development for a movie. So
that's awesome.
I just like, who are they going to cast? I don't know. We can talk about that at the end if you want. So I put together like the biggest WTF moments for us to talk through, because I think that would be the funnest way to approach this. Let's start with the first obvious WTF moment. I'm going to not even start with the first one. I'm going to add one of my own. When she jumps off the cliff, I thought, oh dear God, is this how we're starting?
Is this a Verity?
Yeah, is this a Verity? And then I was like, okay, she's just swimming. So that was like the first like
what
attention getter for me.
Uh-huh.
And then obviously she is going to the throne room and the guardian who speaks for this prince that doesn't speak picks her and not her sister who's been training her entire life to be this person. One thing I wanted to note is I noticed the mentions of hair color so much. Like she'd gotten out of the water and the creepy priest person got all the water out and did a crown. That was huge foreshadowing. And then her stepmom freaking out about her hair and then telling her, you can't wash it very much, be sparingly, here's your dye, like to make her a brunette. The prince wanted a brunette, that's what he's gonna get. I'm guessing, I think her sister was blonde, right? But we know she's a redhead. And that is significant. We find out. We'll talk about that later. But that is significant. And to me, I'm like, why does she have to dye her hair? So I just took note of that because it's very rare in a fantasy. Is there like a modern element like that without a purpose, in my opinion?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And I didn't see it before, but the like dedication at the beginning is to the characters who came before, to the stories that let us here, to the chances we take, to the dreams we chase, trust your wings.
Okay.
And the first line of the book, like, really just grabs your attention. What if I jumped?
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, what do you mean, what if you jumped? Where are you jumping off of? Are you jumping onto something? Like,
yeah.
So
that's a really good call out. Okay. I don't want to skip ahead to that next WTF moment. Okay. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of jumping ahead because this relates to the second one, though. I think I called it from the moment that the pain came through from the marriage ceremony, because he spoke during the vows. And I thought, shit, she's not really marrying the prince. This is a ruse. Like, the prince is the guardian.
Yeah.
And I didn't know why. I didn't get the specifics. Obviously, we get that later. But I will say I'm okay that I wasn't shocked by this. Like, this wasn't one of those revelations that I was like, oh, darn it, they didn't get me. No, I was okay with how I figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I would have been more pissed if it wasn't what we thought. Like, if she did actually marry Xavier, Dre, whatever, and then he fucking cheated on her. It's like, dude.
And then the fact, okay, we'll get to that. But the blood bonded marriage ceremony, obviously very magical. I was kind of shocked about like her feeling the pain when it went through, but very anticlimactic other than that, like ready to go, get on the boat, we're leaving.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Now, that's the other thing I want to talk about in the marriage ceremony is you can't hurt them intentionally. I think that's kind of cool. It's a cool, like, unique aspect.
Yeah.
I will say I said this about Silver Elite too, and I think that's why everyone is so, BookTok, I mean by everyone, is into these two books, is their storylines are very unique, and their magic is unique, the world building's great, easy to follow. I think it's just one of those things that's different. It's not like every other book that we read. Mm-hmm. Okay, Odessa's father secretly ordering her to assassinate the Guardian. Once we get to the end of the book, we're LOLing at this because we know she literally can't. Yeah. So it just goes to show that her father had no fucking clue that they were being duped. Yeah. That there was a stand-in prince. Like, 0% clue, because he would have known she can't kill him. I don't know why he wants to kill him. I think a lot more of that's going to come out in the next one. Yeah. Because there's some correlation between her mom and his mom. I hope they're not related. No. God. I've had enough Game of Thrones. They could be witches or whatever in the same coven or clan of whatever magical creatures. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is something about the Guardian. So we find out later he knows something, doesn't know what's wrong with him to make him so magical or whatever. And I'm with you. I thought almost the entire book that they could read minds. Like Xavier and the Guardian. There's like a hint of that because they're like bonded. Because there were so many times, like even when she's talking to King Ramsay and she's like, fuck you. And his head whips back and I'm like, somebody else would have reacted to that. Mm-hmm. They would have chopped her head off or something. Yeah. I think he was the only one that could hear her. Also, like, when he would ask her a question and he'd say, like, you're such a bad liar. Yeah. Like, not just, and then there was a part, not just the king, there was a part very late on in the book where she said something and she said, I didn't realize I said that out loud or something like that. Do you remember it? I highlighted it, I think. Oh, you did? Okay. Did you read it on Kindle? Yeah. I have a name because somebody said, his gaze narrowed as he studied my face, my hair. You're the bride prize, the sparrow. And she says, in her head, I have a name. Okay, that's when he whipped his face. Mm-hmm. I mean, his nostrils flaring. Oops, sorry, I mouthed. So did she say that out loud or not? I don't think so. Is it in italics like it's a thought? Yeah. Or it's... Oh. Yeah. So I was like, Yeah, because that's right after... or right before, if I had a map to Alisaria right now, would I find a way to get it to my father? Could I betray these people? Could I betray Ransom? Everything I'd been raised to believe seemed fragile. My father had asked me to trust him. I had trusted him. I did trust him, but could I betray the Turins? But yeah, I definitely think that was in her head and he heard her, but nobody else responded. Like, I think there was another time I'm talking about. I think they were like fucking or something. I think I know what you're talking about too, because she's like, I need more, I think. And he's like, I'll do something. Search. Yeah, I can't find it on Google. We're going to have to circle back on that one. Yeah. Yeah, I think a big WTF moment to me was when that's not on this list, was when she found out maps were illegal and then put two and two together that his cuff was a map. I was like, oh my gosh, the fucking Guardian has a map. But also, I'm like, girl, once she realizes she's on their team, she needs to stop being so secretive. Ransom doesn't even know that she created a map. Yeah. I think she told him the truth about everything, except that. And maybe he wouldn't even give a shit because he gave her the cuff. Like, maybe that's not a big deal, but in my head, I could see that being like, Zayd and Violet level, you kept shit from me, blow up, big deal. Yeah.
when they are having sex and she like flips her over. He's like, I fucking love this hair.
He loves the
We're
red hair.
just getting started, wife.
I love it. Good angst to build up to those moments.
Okay. Can we talk about Faze?
Talk about what?
Faze, little Tarkin. That she took as a pet? So cute.
Okay, yeah, that's very cute. And it's very much gives that kind of woman energy. Like, I'm just gonna adopt everything. This random child that turns out to be, okay, that's a WTF moment. That child is his little sister.
Yeah.
She was cute. I liked that girl. The girl had full of personality.
I mean, I had a major WTF when Evie runs up to Xavier Dre and was like, and I was like,
what the fuck? Yeah, I did too. Just that kid in general.
Yeah.
But there was some foreshadowing about her because she was with all the other kids and was scared of Odessa. But, like, she was like, that's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen, little girl I've ever seen, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, going back to Odessa, this is some mystery, not necessarily a WTF moment, but her hair is red, which is obviously significant. We've talked about that. She has to dye it. She has quit dyeing it.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't have the same eyes as everyone else. And people are freaked out by that. She doesn't have like the starburst or something that everyone is freaked out by, which is interesting for the last WTF moment of the book, like the hair and everything. So I think I have a really good theory. We'll get to that. Okay, next big thing was the Guardian, Xavier. We kind of hinted at this. Xavier is not Xavier. He is his cousin who has been his body double, is the word I'm going to use, his entire life. So nobody except the people really close know he's the prince, which explains all of the formalities and such, and how the Guardian got so close. Odessa obviously feels betrayed, but I think her first emotion is relief. This all comes out because one of her ladies' maids was fucking some random guy, and Xavier was watching or involved or something. And she catches all of them. And she said she felt like she was really upset at her lady's maid, but also because her lady's maid thought that that was actually her husband. Is ultimately when it all comes out, like, that's the problem, is that she thought that that was her husband. But turns out he's not.
She said, like, this is the first time I've seen my husband shirtless, and he's kissing my lady's maid.
Yep.
I was like...
And, yeah. Well, and then the lady's maid was like, I know he's your husband, whatever. She didn't say that she knew the truth, that he's not really your husband, like, blah, blah, blah. She didn't, which makes it 10 times worse, in my opinion. If she knew the truth, it'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm pissed that they didn't tell me, but she wasn't really having an affair with my husband. But when the truth comes out, she's crying because she's relieved.
Yeah.
Because she felt, which obviously this book is first person, so we are hearing her internal monologue. She feels terrible for having such strong feelings she cannot ignore for the Guardian, aka Ransom, aka her actual husband.
I love when they start calling each other husband and wife.
I know. So cute.
Before it was just Guardian, or as soon as she found out his name, Ransom, and then my queen.
He called her. He noticed he called her my queen the entire time, which I find, like, at first you think, oh, he's being a dick, but now that I know what I know, it's endearing.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that he knew she had red hair and saw her jump off the cliff and, like, wanted to set her free, I was like, oh my god, this is the best. He honestly is never a dick to her. Well, the training, but he's always makes sure she's comfortable and, like, gives her everything she wants.
And even in his, like, questioning of her, like, he's trying to give her the opportunity to just come out and say why she was sent there and why the dad was like, okay, yeah, you can marry this one. He asks her so many times, like, would you kill me? Or are you a spy? Or did your dad send you here to spy? Are you looking for information? Like, he gave her so many chances, and she's kind of lost in that, not knowing who she is. So she's like, I don't know who to be loyal to because I don't know what home is or where it is.
Yeah. So I think she figures that out, and I think it's just wherever Ransom is. And I think he proved that too, that, like, he would hate to live there, but he would. He would leave everything to go with her, and I think that was, like, the moment where they're like, okay, this is the real deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Major identity reveal. Odessa isn't just royalty, some sort of magic, okay? We know nothing more than that. Period. We just know, based on shit that happens, monsters are drawn to her. That's abundantly clear. Infected ones and non-infected ones. And then at the very end of the book, when he kills the monster and it turns into, what, a woman with red hair? Was it a woman?
Yeah.
Okay.
A woman with red curly hair.
Yep. Just like his wife. So that makes me wonder with the eyes, if the dad had an affair with a monster, didn't know it was a monster, she was, or not an affair, was previously married, and maybe she wasn't, maybe she's not dead.
You know, the writer...
What if it's the one-eyed monster? What?
The writer said that he thought the dad killed the mom.
Yes.
So
people thought that.
If he did kill her, maybe it's because he found out she was a crux.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Huh.
That's a good thought.
And that's why they kind of keep her hidden. The crux. Mm-hmm. Because maybe that's why the crux are migrating and doing all of this, is they're searching for her.
Yep.
Because it just picks her up, doesn't it?
I don't think it even hurts her. It doesn't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe the other monsters are going to the daughter to try to take her out because they have beef with the crux. This is good. It's got us thinking.
Yeah.
The other thing to talk about is the illness that his mom fucking created by accident.
Yeah, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah. Also, the fact that Ransom might not be cured, you know, that's another revelation, is he's infected. There's just full of these in the book.
Yeah.
He's infected by whatever it's called.
The Grizzler. It bit him.
I don't think.
After she.
Okay, yeah. It bit him after he'd had the potion as like a kid or something.
Yeah.
She snuck it in his drink. Also, the revelation of who his mom is undercover with the little sister, Luelle or whatever, who'd been taking care of Odessa the whole time, which would make sense as to why she's so kind to her and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the blood oath with her, was it her lover?
I think the girl was her lover.
Yeah. So she had a blood oath where she had sworn not to tell Odessa. So she just gave her a bunch of books. She's like, here, keep reading. Mm-hmm. Keep reading. Yeah. Like,
you'll figure
it
out.
Together. Come on.
Yeah. Also, there's a blood oath about the city of Alisaria. So to step foot inside of it, do you have to do a blood oath to keep it secret? The location secret? Why is there so much mystery? When they get there, is it just going to be a fucking trailer park? I don't, you know?
I would die.
I would die
just one big hole in the ground. This is our city.
Yeah, like it's been so talked up, everyone wants to see it, or it's going to be like the most magnificent Valaris level
like Oz.
City ever. Like Oz, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like, for sure it's real. The whole book, they're kind of convincing us that it's fake. I feel like by the way everyone acts. And then by the end of it, like Ransom is more open. Which, can we talk about how hot of a name that is? I just, for some reason, that's hot.
I love it. Yeah.
I love it. Anyways, yeah, he talks about it, opens up the best he can, and she puts it together that there's a blood, and so she can ask questions, and he'll answer what he can. And so we get a little bit more information, but the king wants her to go there. Also, why does she react to those creepy people and no one else does?
The Voster?
Yeah.
I know, because when the one grabbed her and she's screaming, he's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Don't you feel the magic? He's like, no one feels the magic. What are you talking about? She's like, I've always felt it. So I feel like we're going to get a lot more of that information in the next one. Yeah. Hopefully it's not held out until the third one.
And the main guy asked who her mother was. She doesn't even know, I don't think. So, I mean, that's going to be something we figure out too. Yeah. Which we already have talked about our theories on that a little bit. But
yeah.
Craziness.
So much. Yeah.
Yeah. Great book. Loved it. Thanks, BookTok.
Yes. 10 out of 10.
Anything else to add?
Let me see on my notes. I took a lot of notes.
Good book.
So I called the king turning the soldiers because I made a note. I was like,
oh yeah, we didn't talk about that. Yep. We didn't talk about that, but yeah.
And then I said, is she the cure? And then his comment, he said, you are mine. I was like, oh, so sweet.
I loved that.
But yeah, I think that was it. We covered everything else. There's so much. So I could probably talk about this for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And like you, I might need to reread it just to see if I can capture more stuff. So next week we're doing Fate Inked in Blood. Okay, so tune in for that next week. We are looking for someone that would want to be a guest on an episode. So if that's something that interests you, definitely send us a message or an email. You can reach us on any of the socials, or our contact information is available on the socials as well. But yeah, follow our socials, leave us a comment if you've read it and how much you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or
theories
for what might be coming in the next 2 books. And we will talk to you guys later.
Bye.